Hello everyone and welcome. Today, we're diving into a technology that feels like it was ripped straight out of a movie, programmable matter. We're talking about materials that can literally change their physical properties on command. And believe it or not, this idea is making a huge leap from the big screen right into our most advanced science labs.
So if you're a fan of Star Trek Discovery, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen those ship controls that just materialize out of a flat, smooth surface, instantly adapting to whoever's using them. The characters even describe it as touching something cold and smooth like glass 1 second, and then a fully functional console the next. I mean, it is the ultimate user interface. It's seamless, it's intuitive, and it honestly feels a little bit like magic.
That vision, right? A world that can just reshape itself around you, it's captivated us for decades. But here's the big question. Is it just a sci-fi fantasy for some distant future? Or are we, right now, on the brink of making it our reality? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today.
First off, we've got to give credit where it's due. Science fiction totally set the stage for this. It gave us this incredible target to aim for, a clear vision of what a perfectly adaptive world could actually look and feel like. I mean, just look at the world of Star Trek. This tech is literally everywhere. It's made of these tiny little nanomolecules that can rearrange themselves into, well, anything. A control panel, a diagnostic bed, even parts of the ship's warp engine. But you know, the key idea here isn't just that it changes shape. It's that the material is intelligent. It can read a user's biometrics to customize itself on the fly, and it can even perform its own repairs. That is the grand vision, the ultimate goal that scientists are chasing right now.
Okay, so with that amazing sci-fi dream in our heads, let's bring it back down to earth and talk about the actual science. What do researchers really mean when they talk about programmable matter?
Here's the textbook definition. It's all about creating materials that can change their physical properties. We're talking shape, hardness, even how well they conduct electricity, all based on a set of instructions. A good way to think about it is like embedding a computer directly into the fabric of a substance itself. You're turning a boring, static object into a dynamic, responsive system.
And you know, this idea isn't brand new. The term itself was actually coined way back in the early 90s, but the real push, the moment things got serious, was in 2002 with something called the Claytronics project at Carnegie Mellon. They had this vision of creating cat atoms, or claytronic atoms, these tiny, self-contained robots that could link together to build larger objects. And more recently, a ton of funding in Europe has just supercharged this research, pushing the boundaries of that these little modular robots can really do.
Okay, now for the really fascinating part. How are scientists actually pulling this off? Well, it pretty much boils down to two main approaches, and both of them are incredibly clever.
So the first way is what's called endogenous programmability. That just means the instructions are built right into the material's structure. A classic example is a shape memory alloy that snaps back to a specific shape when you heat it up. The program is inside. The second way is exogenous, which is when an external trigger, like a magnetic field or a flash of light, causes the change. It's kind of like the difference between a self-folding box that does its thing on its own and one that you have to shine a special light on it to get it to fold.
And metamaterials are a perfect example of that second approach, the exogenous one. These things are engineered at a microscopic level with these crazy precise internal structures. And these structures are designed to interact with things like light or sound waves in very specific ways. By designing these tiny patterns, scientists can give a material properties that are literally impossible in nature, like say the ability to bend light around an object, which, is the basic principle behind an invisibility cloak.
So how does all this science translate into the real world? Well, this is no longer just theory. Programmable materials are actually starting to show up in some truly mind-blowing real-world projects.
How about this? Imagine a building that can breathe. The Hygroskin Pavilion is a real structure, and its wooden facade literally opens and closes all by itself, just by responding to the humidity in the air. Get this, there are no sensors, no electricity, no motors. The material itself is programmed to react to its environment. It's just so elegant, so efficient, and it really is a glimpse into the future of sustainable design.
Now, let's go to the high-stakes world of aerospace, where every little bit of efficiency counts. NASA has a project called MADCAT, and they're developing aircraft wings that can actually change their shape in the middle of a flight. This lets the plane adapt for peak performance, whether it's taking off, cruising at 30,000 feet, or coming in for a landing. And that means huge improvements in fuel efficiency and control.
The potential in medicine is, well, it's just astounding. Researchers have created something they call a slime robot, I know, it sounds weird, that can be guided through the human body with magnets to perform procedures without making a single incision.
And we're also seeing the rise of 4D printing. That's where you 3D print an object with materials that are programmed to change and evolve after they're printed. This could lead to things like medical implants that adapt over time inside the body, helping with things like tissue regeneration. It's amazing. And yes, we are getting closer and closer to that sci-fi vision of nanobots. Scientists have actually built microscopic robots. We're talking barely visible to the naked eye, that can operate all on their own. They can sense what's around them, they can make decisions, and they can move. And they can do it for months on end. This is a monumental step towards creating that complex, self-organizing matter we see in the movies.
So while all these breakthroughs are absolutely incredible, let's be real. We're not quite at the Star Trek level just yet. There are still some pretty significant hurdles to clear before you're going to have a programmable matter coffee table in your living room.
On the technical side of things, there are big challenges with energy consumption and just making sure these materials are stable over the long haul. And of course, going from a tiny prototype in a lab to mass production is a huge leap. But then you have the bigger ethical questions we have to answer. How do you stop a programmable object from getting hacked? And what happens when these nanomaterials get out into the environment? These are really serious challenges we have to solve.
But, and this is a big but, the incentive to solve these problems is absolutely massive. The market for smart materials, which includes programmable matter, is projected to be worth over $15 billion by 2030. That kind of money fuels a tremendous amount of research and innovation.
So what's next? Well, looking ahead, the next giant leap is probably going to come from fusing this technology with artificial intelligence. Just imagine materials that don't just follow a set of pre-programmed instructions, but can actually learn from how they're being used and then optimize their own behavior. Think of a bridge that can strengthen itself in response to traffic patterns, or a medical implant that adapts to a patient's unique healing process in real time.
And that really brings us to our final thought here. Programmable matter isn't just about making clever gadgets. It's about fundamentally changing our relationship with the physical world around us. It's a shift from a world of static, single-purpose objects to one that's dynamic, adaptive, and endlessly customizable. So I'll leave you with this question. If your world could reshape itself on command, what would you ask it to become?